Hey, Riddle here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a subscriber. This is going to be partially sharing with you my personal experience as a novice publishing for the first time on Amazon, KDP, and a combination of kind of whining. I think that's why I laugh so much. I'm so happy because I don't hold stuff in. I just get it off my chest. I figure if I say something wrong, I can always apologize later. But if you have subscribed to my channel, you know that I take it really seriously, as I also take my Instagram and Facebook very seriously. And the thing that frustrates me more than anything when I'm on YouTube and someone has made a video giving information is when you reach out to them in the comment section and ask them a really valid question and they do not answer you. Is it just me? Am I from a different generation? Am I from a different planet that if you're going to put information out there, you should be responsible for responding to people? And I'm sure you can get overwhelmed, but if you're doing this and you're profiting from it, that means it's a business, and I feel that you should be a professional. And you know that unless it slips under the radar, because sometimes it does, 9 times out of 10, if you ask me a question, I will respond to you because I'm a professional. Now, that being said, social media, as an artist and, playing with social media, I have never, ever been able to tap into the value of it. The actual... to actually make enough money to say, yeah, this is worth an investment of time and energy. I use it more for therapy. I just kind of monetize my pain. And when I think something is really cool, I share it with people. But past that, I'm not even making shoe money, kids, just to let you know. And I really feel like there's some kind of trick. There's something that I haven't done or I haven't paid for, because I see videos out there that are, and I can be honest with myself, I'm very self-actualized. I see videos out there that are garbage, and I see people that don't even speak well, and they will have over 100,000 hits on their video, and they'll have 1 million subscribers. And then I look at my content, and I look at, what I give to people at almost 16,000 subscribers, and how low the traffic is, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm doing something terribly wrong because it's not adding up. So please let me know. What am I doing wrong? Besides, one thing I can say that I'm doing wrong is that I don't stick to one topic, because my life isn't one topic. I got a lot of stuff going on, and that's just who I am. I do a lot of things, and I do a lot of things well. That being said, back to my first publishing experience on Amazon on KDP. So you would think 16,000 subscribers would have turned into at least, 100 sales of books? Is that asking too much? But I swear, when I post these videos, no one even gets them. Maybe I know you have to have a little bell on, or you have to want to be alerted if I post videos, but I get such low traffic, I'm just not sure what's happening. But the hardest thing about making a book, even more than doing all the illustrations, even more than doing hand embellishing all the text, even more than the time invested with the graphic designer and the cost of that, even more than dealing with KDP and getting it uploaded and getting a proof of the book, and then finally getting it to print, months and months and months to make a simple book, is marketing. Now comes the marketing point. So before I show you the book, I'm going to kind of tell the story backwards. I've been playing around with marketing. So of course I opened a business account that connects your Meta BS. So it connects your Facebook to your Instagram, and you put in the categories of what you're interested in. And I decided, before I put a lot of money out there, I'm just going to I'm going to do a small campaign to see if anything, if it will procure anything. So I put $50. Like I put a $30 in this one point, $20 in this other point, and I wanted to see, would this actually bring any traffic to my Instagram? And again, you know, what are the value of followers if they're not supporting you? If they're just taking from you and getting off on your content, but there's no reach around, how does that work? How do you seduce people into actually supporting you? So I did my $50 on Meta, and the first day I could see from my PayPal they took $2. So I'm like, okay, so they're just starting to get this ball rolling. And then they took $7. I'm like, okay. Then they took $10. Then they took $15. Then they took $20. Well, as you see, we're past $50 already. And I read it as carefully as I could before I committed to this, because I wanted to see in the fine print anywhere if it said, it said one-time thing, one-time amount. Not that they're going to keep taking it and taking it and taking it out of your bank account, but I was still really suspicious because of the way the world works anymore. The world is just so incompetent. It's bullshit on top of bullshit. And once a mistake has been made, it's really difficult to reverse. So after, I was kind of anticipating to be disappointed, to be honest with you. So after it went over my $50 that I committed to, I had to go in PayPal and just cut them off. I had to cut them off because they would keep sucking my bank account dry, basically. Meta. And I'm sure I will pay the price for that. But I had no other way of dealing with it, because I'm not going to try to find their phone number, get on the line with Baba da Baba in India and try to articulate my issues. And then next thing you know, 3 days of your life has gone by and nothing's been fixed. I just cut them off from the PayPal side. And the only responses I actually got, and this is the other irony of advertising through Meta, the only responses I got were people on Instagram that would say, you should post your page on our site, or you should post your page here or there. And I'm like, okay, how do I do that? And they're like, well, we have these different payment plans. So everyone who reached out to me before I just said, fuck you, on that from the little ad campaign I did via Instagram, were people trying to make money, people trying to get more money for you to advertise on their page and making you a lot of promises, and that they would get you 10,000 followers. But, here's the thing. Again, I've got a lot of followers. I've got, I know it's not a lot compared to most people, but just here on Facebook, I have 16,000 followers. If I can't make 100 book sales from 16,000 followers, then what? I don't see where there's any value in this, in the value of marketing through your social media that you've spent a decade creating and contributing to. Does that make sense? So back to my experience with self-publishing on Amazon. We create the book. I don't cheat. I hand draw all the illustrations. And it's a really, it's a really cool concept. It's a journal, but it's a lifelong love journal. I got the idea from this over 100-year-old book, and it was called the Hymn Book, but it was H-I-M. I mean, look at this. That's hand-drawn. That's not AI. That's an original drawing from me. And that's just the cover page. And then look at the text. I hand drew all of this. And each one of these letters, I went in and embellished. So it says, our love journey is a life journey with all of its magic and sometimes messy lessons. It defines our human experience. This journal beckons our heart, and whatever creative imaginations you may conjure, color, doodle, write, or paste photos into these pages, there are no limits or rules, just like with our loves and crushes riddle. Lovely. And then look at this. See the tiny detail? Do you know how many hours it took to create something by hand? A human being creating his hand? This is all hand drawn. And this is where you write your name. This is where you make the book yours. This book belongs to. And then it starts with your first loves. Who are your first loves? Your parents or your caregivers. So you get a chance to write in about your mom and dad, or your dad and dad, or your mom and mom, or your grandparents, whoever raised you. And you can write about, your experience of being loved, hopefully unconditionally and cared for. And that's how the love journey in everyone's life starts, if you're lucky, with that unconditional love. Now, when you look at the cover, this was the original black and white line drawing. And that starts the chapter. And this is your childhood loves and crushes. Again, look at the beautiful detail on the text. All hand done. And then the book takes you to your first kiss. And then grade school crushes, where you have butterflies in your stomach. And then it takes you to high school. Look at the work. This is work. And then college loves and crushes. Now, some people said, I probably shouldn't have put all the drugs and alcohol in this, but the majority of people I know, that's the time that they experiment. They experiment with, they get to meet different people from different countries, and they do the things, you do all those crazy things because you still don't have any judgment, but you have the freedom in college. And this is another thing that I was very conscious of when I made this book. Why the neighbor that was kind enough to support me and purchase this book, but is in a really powerful, upper level demographic, didn't get, why I didn't do humans, why I did these monsters and animals. And I said to him, well, the idea of the book was to make it so all genders, all races felt included in the book. And so that was another huge amount of energy challenge that I had, was that I had to come up with images that weren't a particular religion, they weren't a particular race, and they weren't a particular gender. And I don't think there's anything like this out there. Teachers. Who didn't have a crush on a teacher or a professor or somebody? Work. Who hasn't had a crush on somebody at work? And again, check this out. I think it's just a really funny drawing. And what's funny about this drawing too is you can't really tell who is into who. And it's just cute. Then we have spiritual loves and crushes. The idea that you might be totally into somebody at your church or synagogue or coven or wherever you worship. Sports loves and crushes. Maybe there was somebody that you had a major crush on who was a jock, or someone actually that you played sports with. Online loves and crushes. A lot of times we meet people online and we get really attached to them, and chances are many people will never meet them because they're on the other side of the country or the other side of the world, but still we invest a lot of time into those relationships now. This made the book very modern, very contemporary. Celebrity loves and crushes. So I got the Twitter icons, but I had to change it, of course, for copyright reasons. But those are, we all crush on the hotties that they put into films. Gaming loves and crushes, Yeah, modern. Fantasy loves and crushes. I thought that was a really cool drawing. Hope you can see it well. Anyways, you get the point. I cover so many amazing topics. So this is a great book for not just, people coming of age, like girls' diary, girls starting diaries, but it's also just a great book for anyone who wants to, document their journey throughout life. And what really surprised me about this is that the demographic that really presented itself, pets. Of course we have pets that we loved. Were a lot of older women who wanted to buy the book and then fill it out to like a memoir, and then pass that on to the younger women or younger men in their families, so they could understand that love's not perfect, and they could understand that, it's just one of those things like ice skating, that you fall on your butt a lot of times before you learn to perfect it. Canceled loves and crushes. Who won't experience that several times in life, if not more? So the funny thing about working with KDP is that we thought we were going to have this up for sale for Christmas. And we had this deadline. And the deadline was November 14th. And we were actually done with the deadline before then. So we're ready to upload, and suddenly we realize that you have to order a proof of the book before you can upload it, which makes sense. I'm not arguing that wasn't a good thing. So you have to order a proof of not just one of them, but if you're going to do a paperback and a hardcover book, you have to order both. And then they send you this, which is really funny because you pay decent money for it and they ruin it with this banner across the front. So you can't give it away as a gift and you can't sell it, which I thought was really shitty and a real waste of resources. But the thing that sucked about getting the proof is it took them 3.5 weeks to get the proof to me. And so by the time they got the proof to me, the Christmas market was done. Completely done. So, but it was good we got the proof because the printer had made mistakes and we had made mistakes. And as you see, one thing was the book needed to be larger. We changed the title of the book because before, look, it says Loves and Crushes by Riddle. Well, if you were to, you'd never find that. You would never find that in the search engine. So the professionals recommended that you should always put the name of whatever the book is about, the content, until you're famous, in the actual title of the book. So now I would hope that when people typed in journal on Amazon, that my book would pop up. And we had some mistakes with some graphics that we changed. And I originally had virginity in here. But then, people are so conservative in the U.S. We didn't want to offend anyone. And because we didn't want to exclude coming-of-age kids, we took out the first time, the virginity one. So that was my sacrifice. Neighborhood loves and crushes. Very cool. So then, continuing my journey with KDP, we fixed everything. We go to upload it. They kept saying there were problems. Things were outside the margins. We would redo it. They kept saying there's problems. There's things outside the margins. Finally, it uploads. And to be honest with you, because the paper quality, you don't get a choice of paper quality. And the paper quality is print quality. It's not to draw on. It's not to color on. What we realized was that if you were to journal on the page that was was designated for journaling, it would go through and imprint and ruin the illustration on the next page. So the only thing we could do if we were going to stay with Amazon is we had to add pages in between the pages to save or to protect the integrity of the illustrations. And adding those empty pages brought up the price of the book exponentially. So now this book that was before reasonably priced is now $30. And how much of that $30 do you think Mr. Riddle gets? I'll give you a couple minutes. Family loves. I thought that was a really fun drawing that anyone could relate to. Doing that generational thing, but with chickens. So Mr. Riddle only gets between $3 and $4 per book. Just to let you know, no one is making a fortune in publishing unless they are selling hundreds and thousands of books. And that's what I'm talking about on here. How do you reach people? How do you reach people if you have, if you're being blocked somehow and the marketing online is so ineffective, or if you have people that subscribe to your stuff that don't actually support you? They just collect your content and take, but never give back. Bad loves and crushes. That's one of my favorite drawings. I think that would be a badass tattoo. And before I chose the cover, I sent 5 different drawings out to, it was like 30 different people, all different ages, all different sexes. And I allowed them to choose the cover of the book, the liner of the book, which was the owl, and the back page of the book. So that was number 1. The liner was number 2, and that was the 3rd most popular when I did my little poll. And this is an inverted version of the Bad Loves and Crushes drawing. So back to KDP. Let's say you want to promote your book. They will sell you an author copy for half the price. That means I got to pay $15 a book, and they will sell you $999 at that price. The problem is with the author copy, that's really important for you to know if you're doing self-marketing and you're reaching out to people to possibly promote it for you, is it takes, right now, 5.5 to 6 weeks to receive your author copies. So it takes practically 2 months to get copies of your book. And all I can say about that is, thank goodness that the people who have bought my book are getting the book within 10 days or less. But for me, it's been really difficult to strategize this marketing thing with these crazy, with KDP. Even the stuff we did online to have uploaded, it took them like a week to approve it. So if you're going to plan to self-publish on Amazon, literally build in an extra 3 months. Don't expect anything to happen quickly. And don't expect anything to happen quickly. Another thing you have to understand about KDP is I was really proud about this book that it was 100% made in America. The printer is in, I think, Illinois, they said. Oh, this one came from South Carolina. Well, that's good because it's a better copy than the one that was printed in Illinois. The graphic designer, I paid a local woman top dollar. It wasn't cheap to help me with the layout and what have you. And the artwork, of course, I did by hand myself. So no AI was used. It was completely made in America. But Amazon outsources, and I don't know if you've been watching the news online, but they have just laid off a bunch of more workers. But they outsource a lot of this customer service and what have you to India. And you don't really have a choice in regards to dealing with customer service, but I think that's important to know. All right, please, Valentine's Day is coming up, and this would make a fantastic Valentine's gift. You can pick up a paperback for 21 bucks, 22 bucks. It's a lot cheaper. 30 bucks, I've been shocked. People haven't complained about it, and they have been selling, but just not the books I've sold have been through my sphere of influence and just me hustling. I don't think I've sold one book through any of my so-called fans or social media contacts. But it's a fantastic Valentine's gift, and if you order it now through Amazon, you should receive it well before Valentine's Day. So please support me and support artists and support something that's made in America. A lot of my fans on here on YouTube complain about imports and things not being made in America. Well, here you go. You can put your money where your mouth is now, kids. And I would really appreciate that. So take care of yourselves and take care of each other. That was very therapeutic for me. I hope you learned some things for yourself about before you take this journey into self-publishing, some of the things you need to prepare yourself for. And if you have any great advice that could help me actually build my channel like I see other channels being built, and or selling this book, marketing this book, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, bye for now.